The rain came down so hard that night it blurred the road into a river of silver, and Daniel Shepard almost didn't see her. Almost. 1 second, his headlights cut through empty highway, the next, a small figure appeared on the shoulder, walking with her head bowed, soaked to the bone. Daniel's heart slammed against his ribs as he eased his 18-wheeler to a stop, windshield wipers fighting a losing battle against the storm. He told himself to keep going. He told himself it wasn't his problem. But something deeper than reason tightened his grip on the steering wheel and refused to let him drive away. Daniel was no stranger to loneliness. At 42, he had logged millions of miles as a long-haul truck driver, raising his 8-year-old son, Caleb, on phone calls, packed lunches, and promises whispered before dawn. His wife, Mary, had died 5 years earlier from a sudden illness, leaving Daniel to learn how to braid grief with responsibility. He drove because driving paid the bills. He drove because motion kept the memories from catching him. And yet, that night, motion was exactly what he gave up. He stepped out into the rain, boots splashing, jacket already heavy with water. "Hey," he called, voice rough but gentle. The girl stopped. She couldn't have been more than 16. Her dark hair clung to her face, and her hoodie hung loose on her thin frame. Fear flickered in her eyes, then exhaustion. "Are you okay?" Daniel asked. She hesitated. "I'm fine." People always said that when they weren't. "My name's Daniel," he said, keeping his distance. "You shouldn't be out here in this weather." "Where are you headed?" She swallowed. "Anywhere." That word carried more weight than the rain. Daniel glanced at the empty road stretching both ways. He thought of Caleb asleep at home with Mrs. Thompson from next door, of the schedule waiting for him, of all the reasons to leave. Then he thought of Mary's voice, steady and kind, saying, "Do the right thing, even when it's hard." Daniel listened. He didn't interrupt. He knew how it felt when life collapsed without warning. He drove her to the nearest town and checked her into a modest motel, paying for a few nights without telling her it was charity. Before leaving, he wrote his number on a receipt. "If you need anything," he said, "call." He didn't expect to hear from her again. But 2 days later, his phone rang while he was loading freight. Grace's voice trembled on the line. "I don't know what to do." That was how it began. Phone calls turned into rides to job interviews, grocery bags left quietly at her door, and conversations that grew less guarded. Daniel learned Grace was smart, with a love for sketching and a stubborn hope she tried to hide. Grace learned Daniel had a son who collected model trucks and asked too many questions about heaven. The challenges came quickly. Social services got involved. Grace's mother resurfaced briefly, then disappeared again. Rumors swirled, judgments followed, and Daniel found himself under scrutiny for helping a teenage girl he wasn't related to. Friends warned him to step back. "It's complicated," they said. "Protect yourself." He prayed more than he slept. He wrestled with fear of doing too much, fear of doing too little. One night, after a long drive, he sat at his kitchen table while Caleb colored beside him. "Dad," Caleb said, looking up, "is Grace lonely?" Daniel nodded. Caleb thought for a moment. "You always say God puts people in our path for a reason." Daniel felt something break open in his chest. With guidance from their church pastor, Michael Harris, Daniel began the process of becoming Grace's legal guardian. It wasn't easy. Paperwork piled up. Court dates conflicted with delivery schedules. Money ran thin. There were nights Daniel nearly gave up, staring at bills and wondering if love was enough. Grace struggled too. Trust didn't come easily. She pushed boundaries, tested promises, waited for abandonment. More than once, she packed.